Hey, what's up, guys? This is David Chase Taylor of 911truther.org. Today is July 1st of 2026. So, based on breaking news and events, it appears that CIA headquarters located beneath CERN at Lake Geneva in Switzerland is going to stage an escalating series of events over the next 100 hours in the United States or elsewhere between the dates of July 1st leading up to the 250th birthday of the United States of America on July 4th of 2026, specifically to spawn a second global biological pandemic, trigger World War III, and or neutralize U.S. President Donald J. Trump. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to outline the top 10 most likely scenarios, and then I'm going to highlight the plethora of events that are going to be taking place in the United States and around the world, which are likely going to be targeted. So firstly, for the record, I just want to state on July 1st of 2026 that J.D. Vance will be sworn in as the 48th President of the United States by the date of July 5th of 2026, because Donald J. Trump will no longer be with us. So the most likely scenario leading up to this July 4th weekend is that Donald J. Trump is neutralized in some form or fashion. This may be via assassination, a timely death event, or a suicide, with, of course, Donald J. Trump giving a speech at Mount Rushmore on July 4th, and then flying from South Dakota to Washington, D.C. on the gifted Qatari Airlines 747. The previously, Donald J. Trump basically accepted a $400 million Boeing 747 business class edition, and this plane is going to go down, likely while en route from South Dakota to Washington, D.C. on the date of July 4th. That appears to be the first assassination event targeting Donald J. Trump on July 4th weekend. If you read the reports regarding this aircraft, this has caused quote-unquote national security concerns. That is because they will predictably claim that the Qataris or Iran somehow booby-trapped or rigged the plane to crash. Secondly, on July 4th, Donald J. Trump is going to be giving a speech in the evening at 9:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the National Mall in Washington, D.C., where he will likely be assassinated either by a sniper, a terror attack, a bombing. Some sort of event is going to transpire. Secondarily, the CIA is planning to stage a coup d'etat in the United States on the July 4th weekend. So the previous attack on the U.S. Capitol back on January 6th of 2021 was specifically staged by the CIA to basically install weapons and explosives and chemical weapons inside the Capitol building and around the Capitol area. That is why it was all fenced off for months. And so this is basically going to be a made-for-TV movie of an attack either by a domestic terror group such as Proud Boys, who was previously scapegoat for the previous attack, or some foreign actors such as China, Iran, North Korea, or Russia, or some sort of Islamic terror group such as Al-Qaeda, ISIS, the Taliban, etc. So we know that they're going to stage a coup. There's also the possibility of an actual coup d'etat by Obama. I've been writing about this forever. So the neocons are frustrated with Trump's lack of a war and aggression against the Islamic Republic of Iran. So a coup d'etat by Obama, with the military brass of the United States behind him, is also expected. So there's 100 different scenarios on how they could do this. This could be left-wing, this could be right-wing, this could be foreign, this could be domestic, this could be a previous president such as George W. Bush or Jeb Bush, but some sort of an American coup d'etat is expected, targeting the White House, the U.S. Capitol building, the United States Supreme Court building, the Pentagon, and/or CIA headquarters is expected. Number three, the CIA is planning on staging a horrific act of war. This is likely going to be a plane being shot down, a ship sinking, a submarine sinking, a political assassination, possibly targeting Donald J. Trump or Vladimir Putin, but some sort of act of war. Coincidentally, the CIA is staging a sort of Fleet Week in New York City Harbor, where the USS Arlington and the USS Nimitz are going to be anchored in the Port of New York and New Jersey in New York City. And so some sort of false flag attack targeting those ships is expected, most likely by the Israeli Mossad, who previously attacked the United States Liberty, sailing off the coast of the Sinai Peninsula in the Mediterranean Ocean back on June 8th of 68. Don't quote me on that. Number four, the CIA is planning on staging a foreign invasion as pretext for World War III. So I just want to state for the record here on July 1st of 2026 that CIA headquarters in Switzerland is going to stage some sort of an event which results in an official declaration of war by the date of July 5th. Coincidentally, on the morning of July 2nd, the CIA is planning on staging a Russian-backed Belarusian armed forces-based attack and invasion of Ukraine. This is designed to trigger invoke Article 5 of the NATO treaty, because I believe that Ukraine, due to my timely reports, which are daily, has been inducted as a secret member of NATO. And so a Belarusian attack on Ukraine is expected on the date of Thursday, July 2nd of 2026. Coincidentally, the CIA staged two massive war games between Russia and Belarus back in 2021 and 2025. They were called Zapad 2021, Zapad 2025, with 250,000 soldiers. So I believe that they are going to are massing at this moment and will attack Ukraine on the date of July 2nd. They may postpone this, but some sort of massive attack by Russia is expected this weekend, likely invading one or more EU or NATO nations. Number five, the CIA is going to stage a nuclear event on July 4th weekend. So between the dates of July 1st and July 5th, the CIA is going to stage a nuclear event, most likely in the United States, but possibly in Israel or another location around the world. This could be a nuclear submarine explosion. This could be an ICBM strike. This could be a 9/11 style nuclear terror attack, but some sort of major nuclear event is going to transpire on the July 4th weekend. Number six, the CIA is going to stage a biological outbreak as pretext for nationwide lockdowns, vaccine mandates, and draconian stay-at-home orders. So this is going to be likely scapegoated onto Ebola, monkeypox, or some other outbreaks such as avian flu, bird flu, Spanish flu, some sort of what's going to be the key, how we know that it's the CIA and the World Health Organization headquarters in Geneva, is that it's going to be airborne. So most viruses and most diseases you have to come in direct contact. You have to exchange bodily fluids in order for them to be passed from one person to the other. But because it's the CIA and because it's fake, the CIA is going to claim that it's airborne so that it can pass through the air and that everybody can get it, and that gives them the medical authority to essentially lock down the airports and basically to do exactly what they did during the previous pandemic. So some sort of biological outbreak is expected, possibly weaponized, possibly scapegoated onto China. China was scapegoated for the lab leak in Wuhan, and they will likely be scapegoated for another biological outbreak. And this may come in the aftermath of some sort of weaponized bio attack, possibly targeting the U.S. Capitol building or some other high-profile event that is taking place. Seventhly, the CIA is planning on staging a 9/11 style kamikaze suicide bombing attack this weekend. So between the dates of July 1st and the dates of July 5th, the CIA is going to stage some sort of 9/11 style attack. This could be a small Cessna private aircraft, it could be a jetliner, it could be a military or a transport aircraft, but some sort of a 9/11 style attack. And the reason why we know it is it's going to be CBRN in nature, chemical, biological, radiological, or nuclear in nature. This could be scapegoated onto a domestic terrorist such as Joe Stack, who flew a plane into the IRS building in Austin, Texas, or it could be Al Qaeda in a 9/11 style attack, which will likely be nuclear in nature. Eighth, we know that the CIA staged the horrific man-made double tap earthquake attack targeting the suburbs of Caracas, Venezuela on June 24th, 2026, specifically to set the precedent for a secondary earthquake attack that is going to happen this weekend on the July 4th weekend. So the first target is going to be New York City on July 2nd of 2026. This is going to target Madison Square Garden. It's going to kill Taylor Swift and the entire celebrity entourage that is going to be accompanying her this weekend. So this is going to be Patrick Mahomes. This is going to be Travis Kelce. This is going to be a list of A-list celebrities that only the Oscars could challenge. And so this is going to be a major blood sacrifice that is going to be executed by the CIA on the date of July 2nd of 2025, most likely in the evening when the first event of the weekend is going to be taking place. This will likely result in the collapse of multiple skyscrapers and buildings in the lower Manhattan area, possibly across the New York metropolitan area. This is likely going to be from a satellite-based directed energy weapon-related attack targeting the New York metropolitan area. If the CIA forgoes this particular attack on the date of July 2nd, they will likely resort to Plan B, which is doing the same exact attack but targeting Washington, D.C. on the 250th anniversary of the United States, likely resulting in the death of U.S. President Donald J. Trump. And this will likely collapse the U.S. Capitol building, and it will likely result in the moving of the United States Capitol from Washington, D.C. to the Cheyenne Mountain complex at Colorado Springs, Colorado. Number 9, the CIA is going to stage a political assassination designed to trigger World War III on the dates of between the dates of July 1st and the date of July 5th of 2026, most likely targeting U.S. President Donald J. Trump, Russian President Vladimir Putin, or Pope Leo the 14th of Italy, which I'm going to get into in a second. Tenthly, the CIA is going to stage some sort of a mass attack targeting Israel between the dates of July 1st and the date of July 5th, specifically to trigger World War III. It will likely be biological, chemical, radiological, or nuclear in nature. Coincidentally, the so-called Maccabee Games, which are called the Jewish Olympics, just kicked off in Jerusalem, Israel, on July 1st of 2026, and they will be going for the next 2 weeks. So these events are being held across Israel, in Jerusalem, in Tel Aviv, in Ramat Gan, and so some sort of these are taking place at least at 4 different locations, and that is why the October 7th attack targeted multiple locations across Israel, because they're planning on staging a redux attack targeting Israeli and Jewish athletes during this event, which is going to last until July 14th. This attack is expected on July 3rd, which is Friday, July 3rd, and this will predictably be blamed on Iran or Iran-backed proxies such as Hamas, Hezbollah, Quds Force, etc. Number 10, the CIA is planning on staging some sort of heinous anti-Semitic attack targeting Israeli, Hebrew, or Jewish-related entities in the United States or elsewhere around the world between the dates of July 1st and the dates of July 5th, specifically to spawn a second global biological pandemic. So this is going to be a weaponized biological contagion-related event, likely under the guise of a weaponized anthrax, Ebola, or smallpox-related bioattack. There have been multiple attacks targeting synagogues across Europe and across the United States, and this has likely provided logistics cover for this impending attack. Number 11, given the numerology surrounding the appearance and epoch of the interstellar Three-Eye Atlas comet that passed by back in December of 2025, some sort of major apocalyptic asteroid, alien, or impact event is expected between the dates of July 1st and the dates of July 5th of 2026 regarding interstellar comet Three-Eye Atlas or some other near-Earth object. So essentially, with everybody glued to the TV this weekend, with these high-profile events and high-profile sporting events such as the World Cup and other events, which I'm going to get into in a second, they're planning on capturing this moment with some sort of apocalyptic impact event. I have identified two potential locations, one being the Baltic Sea and the other being Mongolia, but essentially some sort of earth-changing apocalyptic impact event is expected on the July 4th weekend. Really quick, I just want to highlight this book that is now on the number one best-selling book in the world right now. It's called Regime Change: Inside the Imperial Presidency of Donald J. Trump. Has sold allegedly 300,000 copies since being published on June 23rd of 2026, and that is because this impending coup, this is an overthrow of the United States government that is planned this weekend. Leading up to this 250th anniversary of the United States, and this is by Switzerland and her CIA, and so they have produced a book, likely ghostwritten, entitled Regime Change, because this is going to start with the demise of Donald J. Trump. So once Donald J. Trump is neutralized, then they're going to claim that Al Qaeda or ISIS or the Taliban or foreign countries such as China, Iran, North Korea, Pakistan, or Russia decided to seize upon this moment when the United States is weak to basically attack. And that is the exact plan, is to basically to decapitate the United States and then sell the notion that all these foreign actors decided to attack the United States because we were leaderless. And so that is why it is important to keep the 47th president alive in this particular weekend. So as previously mentioned, there are a number of very, very, very high-profile events surrounding the 250th anniversary of the United States on the July 4th weekend upcoming. These include Donald J. Trump's appearance at Mount Rushmore. So he is slated to give a speech at Mount Rushmore on July 4th. As previously mentioned, an assassination event while en route back to Washington, D.C. on the Boeing 747 gifted to the United States by Qatar is expected. That being said, the CIA is planning to stage a Native American bow and arrow based assassination event targeting Trump while giving a speech at Mount Rushmore in South Dakota on the date of July 4th. This is going to be Donald J. Trump speaking before a live television audience and then being impaled by a high a compound bow, and that is expected on July 4th. I failed to mention that earlier. Secondarily, NATO is executing an operation in the Black Sea entitled Operation Breeze 26. And so some sort of an attack. There's like 14 different NATO nations that are participating in this. This obviously borders the Russian Federation. And so some sort of false flag targeting aircraft, drones, ships, and or submarines of NATO forces in the Black Sea is expected. As previously mentioned, on July 4th, Donald Trump is also giving a speech at the National Mall in Washington, D.C. Interestingly, the speech has been delayed till 9:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is very late for any sort of nationwide address. And given the high-profile scandal surrounding the reflection pool at the National Mall and the fencing that has been subsequently surrounding the mall after the alleged attack on the pool, shall we say, because somebody sprayed algae in there. This was designed to foreshadow some sort of biological related attack, which will likely transpire on the evening of July 4th at the National Mall in Washington, D.C. Interestingly, the Anacostia and Capitol Hill neighborhoods in Washington, D.C. are closing all their roads. So because Anacostia Bowling is home to a military base, and of course Capitol Hill being Capitol Hill, some sort of massive terror attack is likely going to transpire in Washington, D.C. On the evening of July 4th of 2026. This was also foreshadowed by the fact that they are going to be holding the largest ever fireworks display on the evening of July 4th, and there's going to be a flyover of military aircraft. And so this is obviously begs the question, what type of military aircraft are going to be flying over, and will these fireworks actually turn into real fireworks? And so given the high-profile nature of the 250th anniversary of the United States, and given that most Americans will be glued to their TV watching this event, it's obviously ripe for some sort of heinous act of terrorism or a foreign invasion by the likes of China, Iran, or Russia. As previously mentioned, they are also holding simultaneously Fleet Week in New York City on the evening of July 4th, and the USS Nimitz and the USS Arlington are going to be present along with other ships of the United States Navy. So a dual attack targeting Washington, D.C. And New York City on the evening of July 4th, likely scapegoated onto Russia, China, or Iran, is expected. As previously mentioned, Pope Francis XIV is going to be visiting Lampedusa, which is an island off the coast of Sicily in Italy on the evening of July 4th of 2026. So some sort of so this might be a three-pronged attack of China, Russia, and Iran. And so the Pope may be attacked simultaneously or just prior to the United States being attacked. So they might stage an Iranian attack on Italy, and then a Russian and a Chinese attack on the United States. There's also going to be an air show. So we have in Washington, D.C., we have a Donald J. Trump speech. We have the largest fireworks display ever. We have basically a lockdown of the Capitol area. And then we have we have a flyover, and then we're going to have a massive air show. And I believe that this is all cover for a made-for-TV, basically aerial bombardment, likely going to be executed by the Israeli Air Force, but they're going to blame China, Iran, or Russia. And then, of course, this weekend, as previously mentioned, the CIA plans to target the Taylor Swift wedding, and it was just broken news today that the New York Police Department is deploying a special police detail to Madison Square Garden for this event, which is going to be taking place on the evening of July 2nd and the evening of July 3rd. And given the previous assassination plots regarding this particular celebrity, some sort of act of terrorism surrounding this event is expected. So anyways, just to recap, some sort of made-for-TV event is planned in the United States or elsewhere this weekend, July 1st through the 5th of 2026, specifically to spawn a second global biological pandemic, to trigger World War III, and or to swear in J.D. Vance as the 48th President of the United States by the date of July 5th of 2026. So obviously, if this happens, I would kindly ask that you download this video and share it with local, state, and federal law enforcement, military, and intelligence officials, as well as with local, national, and international media outlets. Praying for a peaceful July 4th weekend.